Have you ever wondered why a small fraction of your efforts leads to the majority of your results? Why do only a few of your daily tasks seem to truly matter, while the rest feel like noise? Could success, happiness, and efficiency really be hidden in the idea that less is more? If these questions have ever crossed in your mind, then you're already on the path to discovering one of the most powerful principles of life, the 80-20 rule. But what exactly is this rule, and how can understanding it transform everything from your career to your relationships? Let's dive into the fascinating world of disproportionate outcomes and discover how to make this universal rule work for you. The 80-20 rule, also known as the Pareto principle, is a simple yet profound idea. 80% of results come from just 20% of efforts. This principle applies to nearly every aspect of life, from business and personal productivity to relationships and time management. The rule isn't a strict mathematical formula, but a pattern that reflects an imbalance in cause and effect. Understanding and applying this principle allows you to focus your energy on the vital few rather than the trivial many. At its core, the 80-20 rule challenges the conventional wisdom that all efforts or inputs are equally important. Instead, it reveals that the majority of what we achieve often originates from a small portion of what we do. For instance, in business, a small percentage of customers often generate the majority of revenue. In personal life, a handful of meaningful relationships bring the most joy and fulfillment. The key is recognizing these high-impact factors and prioritizing them. The origins of the 80-20 rule. The principle is rooted in the observations of Italian economist Vilfredo Pareto in the late 19th century. Pareto noticed that 80% of Italy's wealth was owned by 20% of the population. Over time, this concept was found to apply far beyond economics, extending into natural phenomena, business, and human behavior. Richard Koch takes this principle and translates it into actionable insights for modern life, teaching you how to harness this imbalance for maximum impact. Why the 80-20 rule matters. The 80-20 rule isn't just a theoretical idea, it's a tool for radically simplifying your life. It helps you identify what truly matters so you can focus on the activities, relationships, and goals that bring the greatest rewards. For example, in work, not all tasks are created equal. A small percentage of your tasks likely contribute to the majority of your success. By identifying these tasks, you can allocate more time to what really drives results. In relationships, not all connections are equally fulfilling. A few key relationships often provide the most happiness and support. By nurturing these, you can enrich your personal life significantly. In business, a small number of products, customers, or services typically account for the majority of profits. Knowing this allows businesses to streamline their operations and focus on what truly generates value. Practical applications of the 80-20 rule. 1. Time management. The 80-20 rule can revolutionize how you approach your day. Instead of trying to accomplish everything, focus on the critical 20% of tasks that yield 80% of your desired outcomes. For example, if writing reports leads to the most significant progress in your job, prioritize that over attending low-value meetings. 2. Goal setting. Not all goals are equally important. The 80-20 rule encourages you to identify the few goals that will have the biggest impact on your life or career. By focusing on these high-leverage goals, you can achieve more with less effort. 3. Business efficiency. In business, the rule often manifests as 80% of revenue coming from 20% of customers or products. This insight allows companies to optimize their resources by focusing on their most profitable areas. 4. Decluttering your life. Whether it's your closet, your calendar, or your to-do list, the 80-20 rule can help you clear out the noise. By eliminating the 80% of things that don't matter, you create space for what truly adds value to your life. 5. Learning and skill development. When learning a new skill, focus on the 20% of techniques or knowledge that produce 80% of the results. This approach accelerates mastery and prevents overwhelm. The 80-20 mindset. Applying the 80-20 rule isn't just about making better decisions. It's about adopting a new way of thinking. The rule invites you to question assumptions and challenge the status quo. Are you spending too much time on low-value activities? Are you pursuing goals that don't truly align with your passions or strengths? The 80-20 mindset encourages you to constantly seek out the few things that matter most and eliminate distractions. Common misconceptions. While the 80-20 rule is transformative, it's not without its pitfalls. Here are some common misconceptions to avoid. It's not always 80-20. The exact ratio may differ. Sometimes it's 70-30 or 90-10. The principle is about imbalance, not rigid percentages. It's not a shortcut. The 80-20 rule isn't an excuse to do less work. Instead, it's a guide to focus your efforts where they'll have the greatest impact. It's not universal. While the rule applies broadly, there are exceptions. Some activities or systems may require a more balanced approach. Overcoming resistance to the 80-20 rule. Implementing the 80-20 rule often involves making tough choices. It requires you to say no to low-value activities, which can feel uncomfortable. However, by focusing on the benefits, more time, energy, and results, you can overcome this resistance. Remember, the goal isn't to do everything, but to do the right things. The ripple effect of the 80-20 rule. Once you start applying the 80-20 rule, you'll notice its effects spilling over into every area of your life. You'll become more productive, less stressed, and more aligned with your goals. Over time, this approach can lead to exponential growth as you consistently focus on what truly matters. The power of letting go. One of the most liberating aspects of the 80-20 rule is its emphasis on letting go. By releasing the need to do everything or please everyone, you create space for what truly matters. This mindset shift not only improves your results, but also enhances your overall well-being. So now that you know the secret to achieving more by doing less, what will you focus on? Which 20% of your efforts are driving 80% of your results? And how can you amplify them? Are you ready to let go of the trivial many and erase the vital few? The 80-20 rule isn't just a principle. It's a way of life that can transform how you work, live, and thrive. Will you take the first step toward a simpler, more impactful future? Stay tuned for more insights, and don't forget to subscribe to BitBooks for your next bite-sized breakthrough.